you're gonna go to me, and then I'm gonna introduce Valerie. Go to her single camera, right? When we talk, of course, go to the middle camera where we talk. So you don't have to do that. Yeah. Thank you, sir. It is time to be back, everybody. Welcome back. Yes, bienvenido a todos mi gente. Your boy Rico No Suave. I am super happy to be back with each and every one of you guys. Another talk show for you to sit back and listen to. Yes, you know, the time has changed here in Chicago. And yes, I lost 1 hour of sleep, but I still feel good. I just want to let you guys know I still feel good, and I hope you guys are feeling good too across the world. Hey, don't forget, everybody, to make sure you share this video, like and subscribe, everything that we're actually doing, because, hey, this show is for you, and today it's a hot show. You know who's also hot? That's on the show with me? My co-host, Valerie Malesio. Let's go. What's up, Valerie?
Why I gotta be hot for? It's cold outside.
Okay, well,
Am I telling you to turn? Am I telling you to turn the air up?
Hey, I think that, yeah, exactly.
That's okay. I'll be hot today. That's okay.
All right.
No matter what the weather is outside, we're always hot up in here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
That's right.
We have such a great show for you lined up, so make sure you go and grab your beverage, your cafecito, or, you know, if you want a little wine, that's okay too.
Make sure you go and grab it right now. Do it right now, because, hey, it's all about the cafecito, everybody. Tu sabes, con leche, if you want to, depende. You know, it's up to you. It's up to you.
Good. Wine is good too.
Wine? Okay, yeah, wine.
Like to unwind with a little bit of wine, or
unwind with wine. I like that.
Unwind with wine.
I like that. Yes. And all of my Jamaicans out there, we ain't talking about that type of wine. Okay, take it easy.
Hey, you can wine with a little wine. That's all right.
All right,
whatever
everybody.
Works.
Welcome to the show. We got a fun, feel-packed show with you guys today. Hey, we just need 1 hour of your time. Don't forget to share this video with us as well, too. All right, everybody. You know, of course, today and this month has all have been about you beautiful women, women of history, women that's actually doing powerful things out there, but also that's strong, independent, but also family-style women as well, too. We love you here on the Rico No Suave Show, where we actually salute you. Now, this young lady, I should say young, but you know, her birthday was actually in January, and we can continue to celebrate her birthday. Of course, I'm a big sports fan, right? So I'm a big sports fan. So when it comes down to sports, and when there's women in sports, when it comes to the NFL, you know, you have to be able to salute them, right? You got to be able to salute their accomplishments. So, you know, let's bring that poster up. This is happy birthday to 100 Virginia Hollis McCaskey.
Wow.
Come on, man. Come on. Hey, you know, Virginia is, how can I say this? Virginia
icon
has been
She's
an icon.
Yeah.
Hallis Hall. And I love it because she supports all of the games. Every game she's at every game. You know, sometimes you have GMs or you have people that's not at every game unless it really matters, unless you're in the playoffs, right? Or you actually have a rivalry that's actually going on. But she has seen it all, right? She has seen it all when it comes down to sports. She has also been, and I was so happy to be able to see her in a commercial. She was in a commercial for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I
saw that. It was last year with the little kid running. And then it was just a beautiful thing to be able to see how they actually like had her as an icon of the NFL.
Well, she grew up with the sport.
Yep.
And then it was gifted to her. And like, was 83, I think it was?
Around, it was 83.
And
yep, 83. Yep.
How would you like to be gifted a sports team?
You know,
forget about it. I already know you.
And it was her brother, which is Hollis, right? It was a beautiful thing to be able to have that, you know, and be able to see Walter Payton, to see Singletary, to see all, and you know, even OJ, right? To be able to see all of those NFL
especially
players.
If you're, it's got to be surreal.
Yes.
You know, most of us are gifted, you know.
Gifted in the
$25 gift card, you know.
On Fanatics, right? On Fanatics,
some
just
candy,
to get a jersey, right?
On Fanatics gift card. She's giving a whole team. That's nice. But she's dedicated. Goes to every game.
Yes.
And has really like embodied herself as just visibly an icon in every game. People look for her.
Yes.
At every game.
Yes.
And a lot of times they don't look for owners. I mean, like you said, a lot of times they're not even there.
The GMs, the owners, and nobody's
Got
well.
other
The
business.
GMs sometimes
Yeah,
are
other
there.
business to attend to, though.
Yeah, and
for her, it's the love of the game. I mean, she's right
handling
out
business.
there in the stands with the rest of the fans.
That's right. She's handling business, man. And it's like you have to respect the game that she loves and respect the game as far as with everybody actually just giving her so many accolades, man. I mean, so many accolades that she actually have. And I'm like, every time I see it, it just warms my heart. Be like, oh my goodness, she's just, a beautiful woman that's actually empowered and humble about what she loves to do, right? And that's sports.
Humble is a really good word.
And everybody's like, the Bears got to have another Super Bowl or at least get to the Super Bowl before she passes away. I'm like, listen, just let her live another 100 and we good. You know what I mean?
She's out there so much that you almost sometimes like forget that that's her team.
Mm-hmm.
Like the owner, that you just think she's another one of the fans.
And also her age, too. She looks good for her age. I mean, like, really, she's out there.
She's doing it.
She's doing something good. She's doing something good.
It's that football, all that testosterone around her.
Catch! All right, I can't get out this chair, but I will catch it for you.
On the field. Whatever she's doing, she looks amazing. And, congratulations, 100 years, 100 years more.
100 years more.
Yes.
Once again, Virginia McCaskey, yes. All right, everybody. Okay, so now I have to introduce this gentleman. He is ready. I am ready. We have been ready for quite some time. Big shout out to Beatrice for this, because when we talk about it, hey, I'm going to throw this around at you, ladies that may be watching, sex appeal, right? There's sex appeal of what we use when there's just some things that, ladies, you love about a gentleman, right? And when you see that there's sex appeal, but we're going to flip that today because it's called Saxappeal, right? A gentleman that actually plays the saxophone just so appealing that you can't help but to actually just love what he plays. And this gentleman has actually played with some really great celebrities. He has played some really great, I can say musicians as well, too, from around the world. Once again, everybody, this gentleman's coming in from Detroit, right? Detroit, right? I want you guys to stand up. Toot your horn. If you got a horn, toot your horn, because my man, LaDarrel Johnson, is on with us today. Yeah.
There he is.
Hey, let's make sure he's good. Let's see if we can see him. Hold on.
What's up, y'all?
How you
What up,
there,
though?
sir?
I'm good. What's good, y'all?
Let's see.
One more
Can y'all
time.
hear
One
me?
more time.
What up, though? Can you hear me?
All right.
There
Okay.
he
Yes,
is.
sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
good,
Welcome,
y'all.
man. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, man. We're so happy to have you today. Man, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about, right? And one of the things of you just having this sax appeal, man, I want people to know where you got that from. But before we get started, you got any shout outs you want to give out to anybody out there?
Man, so I want to shout out my team. Of course, I want to shout out Beatrice for making this happen. Also,
Yes.
Emily Marley, who was my connection with Beatrice. I want to thank my management, my photographers, my band, the crew, the people who work my social media, everybody on my squad. Shout out to Detroit. We just celebrated 313 Day.
All right.
We were thick out here with the Buffs and the Coney Island and the Better Made and Fagos. It was rolling deep out here in Detroit. So
wow.
we've had a good time. But just shout out to my city, man. Shout out to Detroit.
Big shout out. Yeah, big Detroit. Yes.
Detroit.
Yes. So,
indeed.
I have to say that by you having it, just by looking at the photos that you have, your action photos just tells exactly how passionate you are in regards to you playing music. But let's get it on, man. Talking about Detroit, baby. It's all about Detroit. Growing up in Detroit, who were your role models when you were growing up?
I had a lot of different role models. Of course, I grew up in the Detroit public school system playing. And I literally started playing back in 1992. So I'm telling my age. I've been playing saxophone for 31 years now. And I had the pleasure of performing and learning up under some great musicians under the Detroit public school system, also in the Detroit jazz market.
Okay.
The trumpeter that I studied up under, his name was Marcus Belgrave, great trumpeter. I've studied under the likes of Kenny Garrett, who's also another saxophone player from Detroit. So just like a lot of the legends, who I didn't realize were such big names on the universal platform. And of course, I studied like the Motown music here because it's homegrown music, you know.
Yes.
And then getting into the Motown, I also studied a lot of Jay Dilla. You know, outside of the Motown music, hip hop was just something that was instilled inside of me. So I studied a lot of Jay Dilla, a lot of Slum Village.
Man.
Yes, indeed. You know, my first tour that I ever did was I was 19 years old, and I had a chance to tour with Dwele, who's from Detroit as well. So, you know, I had a very, very fortunate opportunity to study under some really, really great people.
Okay. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You know, you named, of course, a few artists, and we talked about, you know, of course, Motown, you know, that rocks it through Detroit, you know, and also with other artists. What stood out with some of the artists that growing up, you know, as far as you playing, was there other instruments that you were playing while you were growing up and saying, hey, because the saxophone, you know, people just don't wake up and say, "Oh, I just want to play the saxophone," right? Sometimes, you know, there's a niche. There's something that actually comes out and says, "Hey, you know what? I played this, or I sang as well too, and then I want an instrument to go along with it." So, how does that actually work when you were growing up and trying to figure out in the music industry what you really wanted to play?
You know, so the first instrument that I sat down to play was the keyboard, and my grandmother. She actually played organ in church, you know, so I just kind of like learned by ear, just listening from her playing, and I had a little bitty little Casio keyboard. It might have had 20 keys on it, you know, and it had all like those demo sounds. It had all those sounds in it. So, you know, I learned how to play like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and stuff like that on there. And I was watching TV one day and I saw The Simpsons and I was inspired to play saxophone. So I told my mom, and she was like, "Saxophone? Like, you want to play saxophone?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to play saxophone. This is second grade. I'm like, I want to play saxophone." And yeah, like she was like, "Okay, well, we'll see what we can do." So we went to the school, and she told the teacher, like, "Hey, my kid wants to play saxophone." And at the time, they said only children from the third grade up could play into the music program. But I was so passionate and so serious. I begged and pleaded the music teacher, like, "Please let me just play this instrument. I want to play now, not next year. I want to play now." So he was like, "Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a recorder." And I'm sure you guys have seen the recorder, a little plastic instrument, a little white instrument.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a clarinet. So he gave me that. He said, "Here, you can play this, and I'm going to give you this book, and I want you to learn 3 songs." I think it was Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, Polly Wolly Doodle, and I can't remember what the third song was, but it was 3 songs he wanted me to learn. And he said, "You got 6 months to learn it. Come back, you know, towards the top of the year, and we'll figure it out." He gave me that on a Thursday. I brought him that book and that instrument back on a Monday, the following Monday, and said, "Here's these songs. I want to play saxophone. I don't want to play this." And he's like, "Okay,
I love
this kid is serious. Let's give him a saxophone." You know, and I was the youngest kid in the class, but I was focused, man. Like that's just what I wanted to do.
Wow, man. Yeah. That's love, man. That's love.
Yes,
and
indeed.
Big shout out to your teachers. Go right ahead.
So
brother.
I had read of that story about The Simpsons. That's why I had posed that question.
Okay.
About what 8-year-old, let's go to your childhood, because we've done a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
And we've asked about a lot of influences out there who's inspired you.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've had a cartoon as an inspiration. And
Absolutely.
I loved that story. I'm like, he's like, who does it? Who can't play at my age?
Right.
Man,
Why
for real.
not?
I mean, that's exactly how I looked at it. Like, I think she was 8 at the time and I was 7. So I was like, in my mind as a 7-year-old, I'm like, so if I practice for a year, I can sound like her. Let's do it. And that's literally how I thought about it. And that was my mentality. And I just went in and was like, "Yo, I want to play saxophone like Lisa Simpson." And people was looking at me like the cartoon? And I was like, yeah. Yep.
And she was bad.
Yeah, she was good.
I mean, she was
good.
really good
She
at
was
playing.
really good.
It's like the lights would dim and everything around her, you know.
Yeah.
The scenery
Look,
would
Lisa
change.
was a vibe, man. She sure was.
I think for something like that of an inspiration, and especially as a kid, you know, that's cool because a connection is there with cartoons, right?
Yeah.
We grew up thinking, like,
Well,
for me, it was
yeah.
like when I grew up, I wanted to be a superhero, but I knew that wasn't gonna be true, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
at the same time too, you had that influence, right? You had that
Absolutely.
influence of stuff that you want to be, and that was cool because you actually wanted to play because of a cartoon that
Right.
sound really good.
Well, what's
as well,
inspiring to
too.
me is because cartoons don't have limitations.
Right.
You see, like when he asked an adult person,
Right.
they were
right.
like,
Yeah.
"What? You can't play." See, cartoons, there's no
Right.
limitations.
That's right.
You can play. You can go from 0 to 10 overnight if you
That's
really
right.
try.
I played that
Absolutely.
same way.
So I love that, you know?
So with reading music though, so as a kid, because he gave you homework and said, "Hey, come back to me in 6 months," and you came back within less than a week, I guess. And
Yeah.
I'm done already.
and when you came back to him, you actually was reading music, right? Was that or was it by ear?
Well, it was a little bit of both. So in the book that I had, the elementary book that they give you, the introductory book, it showed you like the fingering charts for the instrument. And so I learned, the fingering chart as well as the notes that went connected with those notes. And, so I literally had about 4 days to like figure those notes out. And when I figured them out, I returned them that book and I returned them that piece of plastic because I was like, okay, I need something more challenging, but this isn't what I want to do anyway. So like, give me what I came to this class for. Yeah, man.
That's love, man. That's love. I commend you on that one, man. I commend you on that. Now, of course, moving forward, and past the Simpsons, and now that we actually are getting into kind of the teenage years, right? Did you go through like any talent shows or anything like that when it became? Or let me ask you a question. Hold on, let me take a step back. How did you get your first saxophone?
So my very first saxophone, I grew up in a family who wasn't we weren't very privileged, right? Like we grew up inner city.
Yep.
I got 4 siblings, and we didn't have a lot of money. But my mom, she worked really hard, and I have an amazing village. So they literally scrounged up whatever little bit of money they could, and they bought me a used instrument. And I think that was in the 3rd grade. Up until then, I was using like the school instrument. But the next year, once my mom really noticed that I was serious about it, she got with the family and they bought me an instrument. And before she gave me the instrument, she looked at me dead in my eyes and she said, "If you ever put this instrument down, I will kill you." She didn't blink. She didn't smile. She didn't smirk. And I said, "Oh, she's serious." Because I knew how hard my mom worked. She had multiple jobs,
Sure.
she worked and worked her ass off in order for us to have just enough to survive, So
Yeah.
the fact that she was able to put money together that she probably didn't have, to invest into her
Yeah.
children's interest, because it wasn't a profession. This is just something I'm interested in. And most people, when they pick up an instrument, they don't hold on to it forever. So when she
Right.
said those very threatening words to me,
Hey, what's up?
no, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. Yeah, no question. So shout out
You
to Mom.
will live
Shout out
and
to Mama
breathe
Sax.
saxophone.
Right.
That's it. Other kids was outside playing basketball and baseball and having hoop dreams and stuff, and I was in the crib learning Coltrane, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's awesome, man. That's
love
awesome.
that
Big
story.
shout out to moms, man. What's your
to Mama
mom's name?
Sax.
What's your mother's name?
Her name is Crystal.
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 Big shout out to Crystal.
Shout
we love
out
you,
to
Crystal.
Crystal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Crystal.
Yes,
And
indeed.
so of course now moving forward, as far as with the saxophone now of course you're practicing, you're getting better, right? And now you're never putting that saxophone down because you're on a mission, right?
I don't wanna
You're on a
die.
mission for Crystal, right? And now that you actually are getting into like talent shows. Did you ever do any like open mics or anything that they actually had in order to show your skills?
So I didn't really do a lot of talent shows per se. Like my family would do like talent shows and stuff, and I would kind of they were my first audience. My family was my first audience, hands
Yes.
down. So we did a lot of things. We did we imitated The Boys, we imitated New Edition, Boys to Men, people like that. But then I would sneak off and play a solo inside of those songs. You know, so I grew up on a lot of like 90s R&B stuff too, but we didn't do a whole, I didn't like outside of family stuff. I didn't enter into a lot of talent shows. I did sneak into a lot of the jazz clubs as a kid though, just because my teachers were into the scene and they saw how serious I was, you know, so they'd be like, well, we're going to sneak you in the kitchen, but you know, you got to stay right here and just sit in the corner. And I'm like, okay. I would just sit there and I would wait for them to like tell me to come up on the stage and I'll like play along with them. And then they're like, oh, go sit down, go for a second. So like I would go and sit back in the corner and I would just be in these old jazz clubs and you can still smoke inside at the time. And they just be smoky and hazy in there. And I'm like, so this is the jazz life, huh? Okay. Yeah, man.
So was it kind of like those hole in the wall jazz clubs, or was it kind of like a big time jazz club as well? You know what I mean? Big, like with big space.
Yeah, it was a little bit of both actually. So like there were small spaces from a spot called the Serengeti Ballroom, which is no longer here. I remember that being one of the first places that I was able to get into as a kid. We also had another jazz spot called Jada that I would be able to perform in, and then there was also, which is now the world's oldest jazz club in the country, which is called Baker's Keyboard Lounge. The first time I ever performed in there, I think I was 13, you know, and I think it's like I think it was at the time, it was a 21 and up event or club, just because they served drinks. But, you know, I was never interested in drinking anything or smoking anything inside of these clubs. I just wanted to be around the music. It just so happens that the drinks and the cigarettes just kind of went hand in hand.
It was a package deal back then.
Oh, I can have you. Right. We're going to toast to baby. Yeah.
That's love, man. That's love. That's love.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
you know.
I don't know how you went home to mom smelling like cigarettes. She's
Man,
like, what is going on?
Get in the shower, boy. Like every time I would come home.
Drive me crazy.
Hey, you smell like a jazz club. That's what you always tell me. You smell like a jazz club.
Oh man. Did your mom like was she a big jazz fan as well?
Man, no.
No?
That's a very simple question. So I'll segue into how I was able to like kind of switch my music over. So I studied very heavily like the classical music, and I also studied classical jazz. So like John Coltrane, Duke Ellington, Coleman Hawkins, Dexter Gordon, Charlie Parker, you know, like the old school OGs of jazz. The people on Mount Rushmore of jazz. And I remember coming to my own self, trying to find my own sound, trying to find, you know, my path. And that's for the most part, all I was playing was the straight ahead jazz and the classical jazz. And I would invite my mom to my shows, like, hey, mom, I have a show, you know, and it would be great if you can come. And she'd be like, I'm not coming to see that old jazz. So I was like, dang, like my own mama won't even come see my shows. Like, I got to change something up, you know, like I got to make it more fun for other people to come see it. Because, you know, as much as I love and appreciate the traditional jazz, like everybody doesn't really have that same appreciation for it. So a lot of people just want to hear, you know, music that feel good for the soul, you know, something that they can sing to, dance to, be entertained by. So I started adding that element into my show and into how I brought live music, you know, to the stage. So that was my segue into, you know, the more, not necessarily contemporary jazz, but like the more the alternative jazz that I do now, like more jazz and soul, with a little hint of R&B to it.
Yeah.
The crossover.
That crossover. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
But that right there is how you were starting the beginnings of developing your own sound, you know, because you had this, you know, hidden love affair with jazz because mama didn't like it. So you had to kind of, you know, transition to a little bit of what she liked, you know, and it probably, you know, just helped you develop your own little style, which is kind of cool how that happens. It works out that way.
Yeah. There's one word I think you use is called saxo, right? Is saxo?
Yes, sir. Saxo.
Saxo, right? So bringing that saxophone, a little bit of soul in there, right? And actually, you know, bringing that rhythm, the rhythm of the night. I like to say that bringing that rhythm to the night for your mom. Now, of course, she had to grow into it, right? But I'm sure you had to convince other people as well too about your style, right? Because you, as you know, as a musician, you had to convince people that you play in front of. Do you remember your first? Do you remember your first group that you played in front of besides your family?
I remember my very first gig. My first gig was at my aunt's wedding. I was 7 years old, so I had just had a couple months underneath my fingers of playing. Yeah. And she was like, "I want you to play me down the aisle for my wedding." And I was like,
wow.
In front of people? I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this yet. She was like, "No, I trust you and I believe in you and I believe in you." So like, I was like, okay. So I like learned the wedding march song, and I remember being nervous as all get out.
Oh my goodness, I bet.
Man, it was probably one of the scariest moments and experiences in my life. But as soon as I finished, I remember having this deep sigh of relief and just saying, "Oh man." And I got through it. And afterwards, I was like, you know what? This ain't that bad. I can see myself doing this for the rest of my life. And it was a very small wedding, man. Like, it was at a house on French Road on the east side of Detroit. It might have been maybe 50 people in that house. But for whatever reason, that was still the scariest gig I've ever had. And I played
that is still scary.
30,000 plus people, man. That was the scariest one.
Yeah, I mean the wedding march, like even for grown people, because that's like a milestone in somebody's life. You know what I mean?
That's right.
They're like, if I mess up, it's like singing the national anthem. You're like, all eyes on you. You know what I mean?
Man,
so even today, that's
like,
a huge accomplishment.
You ruin somebody's marriage. That's pressure. That's pressure, man.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but that's the kind of pressure it is, you know?
It is, for real, man.
The kind of pressure.
Yeah, you don't want to hit the wrong tune. She coming down with an extra step, you know? And she not feeling right by the time she gets to her future husband.
Exactly. So I play the role, though. She look over, she trip, she fall, the wedding dress messes. Like,
whole
it could
vibe
just be
is
a
thrown
domino
off.
effect. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you got to play this the way it's supposed to be.
But 7 years old? Oh my goodness. Yeah. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Man, that's awesome, man. That is so awesome. So, you know, of course, before we get to a commercial break, man, I'm having a great time. Hope you guys are having a great time out there as well, too. We do have a few shout outs that we do want to give out to some people that's out there. We got Nick's Gotet that's actually on with us, John T for free. We have Beatrice. Of course, Beatrice is actually checking in with us as well. We do have James Dunn. James Dunn, Hollywood Style, is checking in. Thank you so much for checking in. Janet Moore is checking in as well. Thank you, everybody, so much for checking in. And also, don't forget to ask questions because you know the Saxappeal is in the room with us right now. Yes, he's in the room with us.
Whole lot of sexiness going on.
That's right. A little appeal to it, everybody. So, you've done a lot of great things, even when you started with getting your first saxophone, and even when I think that's amazing, right? It's amazing how you took that saxophone or the one that your teacher gave you, and within 4 to 5 days you came back and you were hungry for it.
Determined.
Not a lot of kids are like that, though. Like, not a lot of kids growing up, because like you were saying, there's basketball, there's sports, there's hanging out with your friends, there's things that keeps us away from being disciplined, right? And I think one of the biggest things that you did was you saw the future in front of you. Like, you saw
it was like, if Lisa can do it, I can do it.
Exactly.
That was goals, man, for real.
And that's awesome, man. That's awesome. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick commercial break. You already know we got my man LaDarrel Johnson here with us. Saxappeal musician and producer and co-host Valerie Melesio. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick commercial break, 30 seconds. We'll be right back.
back.
And we're back, everybody. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Thank you guys so much for all of your comments and all of the love that you have for my man, LaDarrel Johnson, because he's in with us as well, too. Thank you guys so much. And continue to ask questions and go from there.
We do have a comment from John T. for free.
Yes.
When we were talking about music and growing up, he said, everyone had a Casio. What's our excuse for not knowing how to play?
Yeah, we had one, too. I had a Casio,
like
too.
Everybody had that Casio keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
It must have been big sale. Because like everybody had it.
Everybody had it.
The same
that's,
Yeah,
that's that joint when Radio Shack had it. Yep.
Radio Shack, that's right, yo. Exactly.
That's it.
He said Radio
Everybody
Shack.
had that joint.
That's right, Radio Shack. Hey, because it was the cheapest. It was kind of cheap then too at Radio Shack. Yeah, that was like a kind of a lower budget of Best Buy. You know what I mean? So for me, like a straight up electronics store. Right?
It was, yeah. You must have had a field day in there,
man. Well, my father did because he played jazz too. My father played jazz. And he used to take me to Radio Shack, and that's where he used to get his stuff for his band, right?
Yeah.
And when you went there, I saw the Casio, and I couldn't help but to touch it, right?
Yeah, that Casio was just huge during that time. And like Radio Shack, my daddy's a musician, and he's an IT guy, and always something techie going on.
At Radio Shack,
wow. Spend hours on Radio
Shack. That was a haven for the musicians and the nerds,
man,
and I was both,
spot.
so it was perfect for me.
Hey, y'all got layaway? We're like, hey, y'all got layaway? Because I knew you used to put stuff on layaway too. We're like, I'll be back with the 20 next week.
Right. For real, man.
All right, LaDarrel, let's get back into the groove of things. So, you played for some great people. You opened up for some great people. I want to know your experience in regards to what stood out, because that actually you got introduced as far as to a lot of people in the industry. As far as celebrity wise, let's talk about a few of them. Tell us in regards to your story with some that actually sticks out that I'm sure you're proud of everything that you've done, but let's talk about some of them and then, give us your experience as far as working with them.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. So very early on, dating back to about 2004, I had the pleasure of touring with the guy from Detroit named Dwele. So shout out to my brother Dwele, who gave me my first opportunity to experience what the road life was like and tour life was like. So Dwele was my first tour, and from there the ball just kept rolling. I was able to tour with a Detroit soul and R&B singer named Keith Washington. After that, I did K-John. After that, I was with Eric Roberson. After that, I was with Flowetry. After that, I was with Late Nubians. And so, the ball just kept rolling. And then eventually, I ended up with Charlie Wilson, which was the last major artist that I toured with. We all know Uncle Charlie as the lead singer, former lead singer of the Gap Band.
Yeah.
11 or 12 time Grammy nominated artist. I mean, the list goes on and on. Yeah, Mr. Suave himself, man.
Right.
It was. I did that tour for about 6 years, which was an amazing learning experience. To be able to sit at the foot of an elder and just learn and adapt all of these new things and listen to the stories that he's told. Like, he is definitely a testament of God having his arms wrapped around you, because he's been through more things in his lifetime that I couldn't even imagine doing or persevering through.
Sure.
So more recently, I just did the Jazz in the Gardens Jazz Festival this past weekend with the saxophone as my mentor that I've known for over 20 years now. His name is Mike Phillips. He was instrumental in the Hidden Beach era, back when Hidden Beach was like on top of the world. You had Mike Phillips, you had Kendrick the Family Soul, you had Jill Scott, who all came from that Hidden Beach family. Nice. So he's still out doing his thing, and he gave me a call. I was like, hey man, I want you to come down to Jazz in the Gardens with me and come play, in my band, and just kind of see how we do things from my end, and it was a very, very dope, very humbling experience. I got a chance to, for the first time, perform with him. I've studied up underneath him and watched how he does his thing. And for him and for me, it's like it's always been a Jordan Kobe relationship. And
Yeah.
it was kind of the same thing where like Jordan would like knock Kobe inside the head, and Kobe would be the little brother that always wanted to learn from him. And it
Yeah.
was the exact same experience, but it was very dope, and I'm very honored and thankful that I was able to get that call from him this past weekend. So yeah,
Wow.
Nice, man.
as far
Nice.
as opening up for people, man, like the list goes on forever. I've been fortunate enough to be on the same shows as, I mean, the Who's Who, Erica Badu, Jill Scott. Last year we did the Culture Tour with Jodeci and New Edition. A couple years before that, we were fortunate enough to open up for Bruno Mars for the 24 Karat Magic Tour.
Nice.
I mean, it just goes. The list goes on, and I don't take any of it for granted. You know, it's always a very humbling experience to be able to see, you know, just how hungry those artists are, and I'm always willing and able to learn from everybody that I experience and I get a
Yeah.
chance to be on the stage with or open up for.
That's
So
awesome,
yeah.
man. Hey, I know there's plenty more, of course, celebrities we could talk about, but Dwele, when he was with oh my goodness, the guys from, I don't know if they're from Detroit.
Slum
It's
Village.
tainted
Oh yeah, Slum
tainted
Village.
love. Slum Village. Yes,
Yes.
Slum Village. Are they from Detroit?
Born and raised, Coney
Yeah,
Gardens.
born and raised, right? So
yeah.
I remember when Dwele was actually on that Tainted, I think it was Tainted, as far as that song. So whenever I hear Dwele, I always think about that song because I used to play that song so much as far as
Yeah.
from Slum Village. I like to hear about the connections that you made because, of course, the whole trickle down effect when people hear your music. I want to know what your reaction is when you hear from one person, Dwele, and then you start getting into like Floetry. Now, Floetry was another one that just hit like the market. Like, whoa, where did these ladies come
Where did
from?
they? Yeah, they
right.
came-
Yeah.
And it was just, and also, of course, with you networking, how was your connections as far as with people hearing your music and say, hey, I want you to roll with me too?
Well, for me, it was mostly word of mouth. Like I've never been that person to like jump in somebody's face, like, "Hey, you need me for your show." Like it was usually like
right.
the other way around, where it's like, "Hey, man, you really dope. Like I would love to have you on my show." Because I've never been that person. Like, yes, I'm hungry for this music, and you know I'll do what I need to do. But I'm never jumping in nobody's face and telling them
Correct. Yeah.
I need to
That
be
would be
on
something
your
to see,
show.
though,
Like,
if you did.
look, I've seen it, man, and I'd be like, no, that's not the way to do it. That's not it, man. Like, let these opportunities come to you. Like, if they want you, they'll find you. You know,
Yeah.
and that's literally how it's always been with me, man. Like, if somebody wants you to be a part of their camp and their crew, like they gonna come find you. You know, you ain't got to be thirsty about it. They gonna come looking for you. Like,
Yeah.
all you got to do is have the talent and the drive and be ready. If you stay ready,
Stay
you got to
ready.
get ready.
Man, and I think that's the best. That's the best advice.
Yeah.
Stay ready.
When you actually had the, going from connection to connection, right? Because of course they have to come and to hear your work. Did they come up to compliment you in regards to your work, and also did they also give you any advice, in regards to you pursuing your career in the music industry?
Well, I've gotten a lot of compliments from a lot of great artists, a lot of celebrities. A lot of it is just from like the musical performance aspect, where it's like, man, you could really entertain the crowd. And then every now and again, I'll get like oh, you really know your stuff technically, like who's like actually listening to what it is that I'm doing. And then you get like, like how I was saying, like with my mentor, with Mike Phillips, he's like, yeah, man, like I'm really proud of you, what you're doing, but these are new ways that you can develop your sound, your technique. So I get it from different aspects and from different places, but it all helps me to continue to build and continue to develop, my brand and my tone and my sound and what I want people to experience when they hear me and when they see me as well. So, and sometimes I'll get the compliments, like how LeBron James talks to people, and he'll like put the towel on, like, hey man, I want you to come. Can you come play with me? Like I want you to. This needs to be a secret. Don't tell nobody, but I want you to come play with me. So like, it just depends. Like everybody's approach is completely different. So it's like I'm just ready for whatever. I'm ready for the compliments. I'm ready for the next gig. So again, I just try to stay ready. That's it.
Yeah. You know, part I think of a rule of being a sax player is you just have to be so cool. I mean, look at him.
Yeah,
you are just
he's
so
cool. He's cool.
This was developed. This was not
but it's like,
to develop.
but even just like playing saxophone, if you ever watch the band, the sax player is always just the coolest.
Yeah,
one of the coolest on the stage. You know.
Sometimes.
And you're around a lot of musicians, and you mentioned that, some have, humbly made comments about your music. There's never been one moment you were like, oh my God, he said my music was awesome. Like where you're inside, you were just starstruck, like, oh my God.
Man, I've had a few of those moments. I think if I had to say the top 3 moments would be one from Bruno Mars, because Bruno would have this thing where like we would be doing sound check, and Bruno is just what you see is exactly how he is. Like he's larger in life, and I mean he's always charismatic, all his energy. But like we would be in sound check, and he would like be rolling in these arenas on this bike it was like 24 karat gold, and he'd just be like rolling through the arena in this bike, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, but he would like he would like come and compliment you or anything. But like, so we got off the stage one day, and he was like walking past as we were like going to the back, and he was like, "Yeah, Sax, man, you killing!" And I was like, I was like, me, like, oh my God, like, wow, thank you. So that was probably one of like my most like starstruck type moments. Another moment, like I've heard it from who I consider as the greatest of all time, Mr. Stevie Wonder. And he said he just loves my tone, and I was like, I had no words. I was just like, oh my God.
I would too. Oh my God.
Steve Morris just complimented the way I sound. Like there's nothing better than that, Yeah. So, I mean, when it happens, man, it's mind blowing to me, and it always makes me feel like that 7-year-old kid again. Like this is why I got into this industry, man. And I think another probably my out of my top 3 was also we did I want to say it was the Kelly and Ryan show a couple years back. I was out with Charlie Wilson, and Teddy Riley produced the song. And I got a chance to like chop it up with Teddy, and like we were like going over these like dance steps and stuff because he was playing guitar with the horn section, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like you just got a energy about you, man." And I was like, "Well, I appreciate that." Like coming from somebody who created his own genre of music, that's a dream come true. Like I want people to be like, "Oh yeah, Saxo came from this guy right here." Like there's no question, absolutely whatsoever. Like who the father of that type of that New Jack Swing.
New Jack Swing, baby.
You know who made that. Like, there's no question about it. Teddy Riley is the GOAT of that.
That's
like,
right.
He is.
So like to be able to hear that from a living legend was like unreal, man. So
Where was that at? Where was that at when Teddy Riley?
That was the Kelly and Ryan show. We were doing like a TV promo thing, and
Kelly, Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah,
Ryan Seacrest. Yeah,
you didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
Was that in LA?
I think it was in New York.
Oh, New York? It was New York?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay.
I love how he said that. Oh, I think I was in New York.
That was hot, man. That's hot.
Me, I have it written down like on my calendar. Yep, I was there.
It's so long ago. I just don't. But yeah, I'm almost certain it was. It's either one of the two, but I'm almost certain it was New York. I don't.
Either way, man. Either way, it's just a blessing to be able to be in front of Teddy Riley, guy back in the day. Get the red light on, man, because he's about to get it all. You know what I mean? And it's just that New Jack Swing was the bomb.
Teddy Riley, I mean, he's still doing it.
Yeah, they out with the country
and
tour.
he's still in great shape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it wasn't very recent that I saw him, but I saw him recent enough, and he's still clear pipes and everything. He's still hitting notes.
Man, hey, you got to keep yourself, and just like you, LaDarrel, it's discipline. right? Mm-hmm. Stand disciplined. Yeah. While you see other people like wither away, you like still keeping it going. You know, it's like, hey, I got to stay my focus. I got to keep going. So, you know, big shout out to you, man. I'm loving this. I'm loving this a lot.
I love that.
All right, everybody. Of course, you already know Saxappeal Music.
Saxappeal.
Musician, producer, LaDarrel Johnson. Ooh-wee.
For the grown and saxy.
That's right. Right. Come on. Put a little sax soul to that, please. Yeah, a little sax soul. Everybody, okay, we're going to take a quick break, but I do want to bring up this flyer so you guys know that, hey, the Rico No Suave show is blossoming, everybody, with over 10K views. We have commercial pricing, everybody. So you see that Rico Sizzle, Rico Standout, and Rico's, oye, mi gente.
Yeah,
right?
Grow your business.
Grow your business. Because you know
out
why?
there.
We are expanding. So if you have a commercial that you would like to have on our show itself, trust me, you definitely will be able to get that exposure. So we have 45, 95, and 145 there. Hey, send us an email at Rico at the Rico No Suave show. It's going to be the bomb, baby. It's going to be the bomb.
To match every budget.
Every budget. You can stand out or you can just get with the sizzle.
That's
or
right.
You can say, oye, mi gente, and go all out. You know, I like that too. So everybody, make sure you take advantage of our show. Yep, going on 5 years this year, everybody. So make sure you take advantage of this because we're on all platforms. All right, let's get back to this interview. My man, LaDarrel Johnson. Yeah, baby. Yes. That's what we got. Get your groove on. Get your groove on.
Hey. So we talked a little bit about your inspirations and about being around icons and just all that energy of being around amazing musicians, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, question for you. If you had an opportunity to collaborate and create, you know, with any artist out there, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Dead or alive? I would. Well, I'm gonna give you both. I'm gonna give you dead and alive.
All right.
Okay, that works.
Deceased, I would have to say it would be a very, very close toss-up between Michael Jackson and Prince.
Ooh, yeah, that is a hard decision between those two.
Man, the energy that they both had, and it's a little bit different, you know. Like I love and appreciate all that Prince, all the energy he brought because he was such a multi-instrumentalist, and he heard everything. Like to just be able to sit up under him, I would love to be able to have that opportunity. Mike, because he was just like, to me, the ultimate entertainer. He was a walking instrument.
Yeah.
So alive, I would probably say Silk Sonic, which is like the super team of Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, because they have the energy, you know, that I feel like I have on stage. You know, they have a certain demeanor to them when they bring it to the stage. It's just like, like I would love to do something with these guys, man. Absolutely. So yeah, that's my answer. That's final answer.
Nice. You know, Prince, I mean, you got to watch out for Prince. I mean, you play the saxophone around him, he wind up getting on. You just not know what's going to happen this part with Prince, boy. You might be in another Purple Rain with him. You know what I mean?
Prince can play. He's such, like you said, multi-instrumentalist. He can play
everything.
Every instrument out there.
Everything is ridiculous. Yeah.
So, and then Michael Jackson. So if you were ever going to sit in a tie, I would say Michael Jackson and Prince. Yeah. Totally understand that one.
Yeah, I would say a close third would be Marvin Gaye, just because I learned to study and emulate Marvin's tone. I always wanted to say that I want my saxophone to sing like Marvin Gaye sings.
Oh, okay.
So that would be a very, very close second between that tie.
Hey, I want you to look up, and big shout out to my man, DJ Control. He hooked me up as far as on Spotify. They have an album of the rebirth of Marvin Gaye. If you have Spotify, look that up. The gentleman is actually singing, sounds just like him. Just like Marvin Gaye. Blow me away. He said, Rico, when you hear this, it sounds just like Marvin Gaye. So look at the rebirth of Marvin Gaye.
I'm gonna have to look that up now.
It's amazing.
I'm a big
and that
Marvin.
Might be a good connection into what you're thinking, right? That's going to basically help you be like, hey, I need to get up with this guy, because having a jam session with someone like Marvin Gaye, is insane.
I couldn't even imagine.
Insane. That's wonderful, man.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I have to hear that though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that one out.
We got to be live with you, man. We got to be live with you.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check that one out for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. All right. So, we're down to the last 10 minutes, man. The hour's going by fast. And are you having a good time?
Man, I'm having a great time. I'm almost through my drink. Almost through the questions. Like, let's keep it flowing like the drinks are.
Rico didn't bring any wine out today. I don't know what he was thinking.
Rico, come on.
I know.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. If I would have known that the Saxappeal was gonna hit us that hard, I would have actually had a bottle.
Yeah, man. Look, y'all gotta have me back, Valerie. I'll have a bottle for you.
Yes. We gotta have you in person. The next time you come, you gotta come in person. And we're definitely going to rock it out that way. And then we probably have you play live, too, man. We have you play live, too.
That would be amazing.
That would be love. I do want to recognize your photos. We do have some of your photos, though. We want to recognize you in action because,
they're great photos.
They're really great photos. So, we're gonna throw up a few, right, for our producers. This one right here, you in front of a mansion.
That's one of my favorites. That's the Motown mansion right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. That is a beautiful picture.
Of the city, man.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow, that was an awesome photo.
Shout out to the photographer Lamar Landers for that one.
Lamar Landers, big shout out to you.
Yes,
all right, let's go to that next one. Let's see what we got for the next one. Yeah.
Oh, that's recent right there. I just that was on my excursion to Paris, France.
Nice.
And, I was just gonna ask if that was Paris.
Yep, that was Paris. That's on the Champs-Élysées, which is probably one of the most one of the most expensive high fashion streets of the world, fashion district of the world, man.
And the license plates.
Right, exactly. Very, very overseas, very European.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you? I'm assuming you were playing there in Paris, right?
Yeah, I had 3 shows booked before I left, and I was there for a week. And when I was in Paris, like I said, I was there for 7 days. I ended up playing for 6 of them. Like the more I played, the more people was like, "Hey, you got to come here and play at this place." And I was like, okay. I had 1 day off in an entire week, and I was like, man, this is unforgettable, man. And it was my first time in Paris, so I didn't really feel like I had an opportunity to sleep, but I didn't really want to. All I wanted to do was play music, meet good people, eat good food, and experience the culture of the city, man. So it was
that
beautiful.
just sounds amazing.
That's awesome, man. So did you wind up just playing for 3? You had 3 gigs only, or did you have more after that?
I literally doubled that. I had 6 gigs when I was
that's
there.
Beautiful.
6 gigs in 7 days, man. It was ridiculous.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Man, congratulations on that. That's Paris right there, man. Oh my goodness. So, of course, being in Paris, how they put on your website, as seen on CBS, as seen on NBC, you can say as seen in Paris.
That's right.
Right? Sure. That's a cool picture, man. That's a cool picture. Yeah. We got another one. Let's bring up the other one.
All right.
This one is I like this one, but I think the next one when he brings this up, I like the action photo of this. Right? This shows you in regards to your style, man. That jacket is fly.
Thank you, man. I have a really, really good wardrobe squad. This was at a company which is here, which is called Simply Casual.
Okay.
They are huge in not just the Detroit fashion scene, but in around the nation. So they take good care of me there. I let them know, hey, I got a show coming up, and they put stuff together. They say, what are your contrasts? What's the lights going to look like? They asked me all these questions. They was like, oh, well, if you're going to have blue lights and purple lights and pink lights, we got a jacket for you. And we're going to put this certain feather in your hat. And it's just like, okay, so I try my best to give them that creative control, because I never want to walk into a place where I know this is your profession and tell them this is what I want. If you're a part of my team, I want you to be able to bring your creativity to this brand. Yeah. I never want to be like, I'm walking in as a dictator. Like if you're a part of this team, this is what you do. You know, like you have the 20 and 30 and 50 and 100-year experience for this stuff. So, you know, I want you to bring what it is that you offer to the table and help enhance the brand. You know, I never want to feel like I'm walking in like, oh yeah, this is what I need. No. Like you let me know what I need. You know, that's the way.
Is that your dictator voice?
Yeah, that's it. I need this. I want that. I don't want to be gringy, man. Like I don't want like a gringy old man when I walk in places, man. It was either gonna be that voice or like a Donald Trump, like I need a best. Like I don't want to be that. You know? So, I don't want to be either one of those people.
You threw the Trump out there,
man. Listen, that's how he be sounding, man.
Right?
But you're absolutely right. You know, if you've got a team,
yep.
you have a team for a reason.
Yep.
You understand their strengths, and you let them do their job.
Yeah,
you know?
yes,
that's it.
Love that, and you look great in that photo. They're doing an amazing job. So shout out to your team.
Big shout out to the team. All right, let's go to this last. I think I got this one. Let me see if he got to throw up the one that actually his profile, the profile one, that one. Boom.
That's when the light hit me right there. What's up?
You were glowing on that one, man.
Yeah, that's the soul glow right there.
Yes.
You got the Rick James aura going on in there.
That's right. Or I'm Rick James. Yeah, man. So this picture, I remember this too. This picture was taken during my show at L Club. I have a part of the show where like I just let the band go off and do their thing. Like they get a break, and I do Best Part by Daniel Caesar and Her. And so like I'll go out in the audience and serenade some of the people in the audience, and you know it was an opportunity for me to like just kind of like sit down and serenade people. And I always make it like an account to like wear Jordans when I play. Like, and it's I've always been heavy on wearing comfortable shoes when I play.
Sure.
You know, like typically when you got your suits on, you got like loafers on or you got like dress shoes on.
Sure.
But I notice like when I'm playing, because I do a lot of movement when I'm playing, so my feet hurt. So I'm like, man, put on some gym shoes, man. Let's see what happens here. And so it's just the look kind of like worked out. And so it's just like it's signature now. You know, like the nice blazer and some nice dress pants, you know, with the Dobbs and some Jordans on, you know. So typically I usually wear like Jordan 1s because, you know, Jordan was rookie of the year back in 85.
Yep.
I was born in 85. So like the Jordan 1s are like my go-to one.
All right.
But I just so happen to have the Jordan 5 DJ Khaled on here. But yeah, man, it all worked out. With
it looks it's got that urban chic vibe going on.
You got the glow, man. I
and
think this
the
is
glow
one of my
in the background.
It's the angel. It's the angel that's involved, baby.
It's the ancestors watching over me, man. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I love it,
man. You know, we're down to our last 2 minutes, man. LaDarrel, man. We had a blast as far as with you here
this
on
hour
the show,
flew
man.
by.
Man, this hour went by so fast. But I have something for you, my man. I have a Rico No Suave show shirt for you. Yeah, this is for you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, man.
This is definitely for you because you're a gym around the world, Paris, right? And I have to say by everyone that you made a connection with, you know, from your teacher, showing your teacher at the very beginning, coming back after 4 days saying, I'm serious about this, to the connection with your mom saying, if you put this down, you're going to have problems.
Shout out to Mama.
Right, we're going to have problems in the household. Crystal, I know, right? Crystal was serious. And then, of course, with going through with all of, you know, your songs that you actually have and all of the connections as far as with Dwele, with, you know, Floyd Tree and Charlie Wilson and all of the big, and Teddy Riley. Wow. Right. And then I have to say that it's just a blessing, man, to actually have you on the show and knowing that you went through all of that. And once again, big shout out to Beatrice for this connection. It was such a great thing to actually have you here. But this show, we welcome you to the family, man. We welcome to your family.
I'm
yeah, baby.
Man. Y'all gonna see me at the barbecue.
That's right. Hey, we're gonna come where you at, man. We got to take a trip up. We got to take a trip out to Detroit, man. If you're ever doing something like live and stuff like that, and we'll talk more, man. I got your number now, so we definitely gonna be talking about the show going on the road, and we do stuff that's live wherever you are. So we're always about handling that journey, man. But we appreciate you, man. We definitely appreciate you being on the show with us today.
Amazing.
Likewise, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Rico. Thank you so much, Valerie, for having me.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Hey, we're gonna
thank you for taking time with us.
Yes, we're gonna throw up your social media because people are asking, how can we have? Oh, somebody, John T for free said, bring the sax side dish. Okay, well, all right, we got you on that one. Okay, right. Instagram, Saxappeal Music. Make sure you go ahead and follow him. Follow him there at Saxappeal Music. Do it right now. Follow him. Here's the next one. We got Facebook. Yes, Saxappeal Music. Make sure you go and follow him. Like, and
love
everything that he does. That's what she says. Here we go. The next one is YouTube. Yes, you want to hear the music? You already know. Saxappeal Music. Go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe now and put that notification on so when he uploads new music, boom, you have it right in front of your ears. All right, here's the next one. Twitter. Yeah, so on Twitter,
baby.
Ooh-wee. Saxappeal Music, man. Hey, whenever he tweets, trust me, you'll hear about it. It'll come up on your phone. Yeah, so make sure you go ahead and reply, repost, all of that great stuff. Interact with my man. Last but not least, it's all about the website, baby. Boom. Saxappealmusic.com is where you find everything about him. You want to book him? Hey, he did 6 gigs in Paris, so you might as well do 6 gigs in a week as well, too, with him. So make sure you go ahead and follow him on his website.
Saxappealmusic.com.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes. All right, my man. Hey, LaDarrel, we got to let you go, my man. But thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show. Many blessings to you, bro. And we're always here for you, Papa.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, my man, LaDarrel Johnson, everybody. See you later, my man. Darling. Peace. All right, everybody. That was my man, LaDarrel Johnson. Had a great show today. That was awesome, amazing. Man. That was beautiful.
I really wish we had him in the studio to play a little bit live.
Yes.
So we can experience the sax soul.
Man.
Oh, man. In due time. It sounds like it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. So. It's going to happen.
Great interview.
And of course, everybody, we love that you guys have actually done so many great things as far as for us and our regulars and also to our new people that's joining the show. We're going to show you our social media now. So our social media, everybody, is our website at www.riconosuaveshow.com. Make sure you go to our website. We have nothing but great information there. And of course, this video will also be there as well, too. So make sure you go ahead and show your love for our website. Here's the next one. Boom! You already know. It's Instagram. Instagram, everybody. Make sure you go ahead and follow us there at Rico No Suave Show. Do it now.
Right now.
Right now. Thank you so much. Yes. And then we have Facebook. Boom. Rico No Suave Show because they asked us to come back. They missed us, everybody. So we came back. So we're on Facebook. Make sure you go ahead and like.
And love.
Once again, that's what she said. All right, everybody. Here is the next one. Our YouTubers. Yes. YouTubies. Hey, building our journey. That's right. Subscribe. Yes, subscribe and click on that notification because every time we put more stuff up, you're going to get notified because we put more stuff up. All right, everybody.
And leave comments. Let us know what you think.
Exactly. All right, here is our last one. Mixcloud.com/Rico No Suave Show. If you're a podcaster, trust me, this goes into audio format, so you can actually go ahead, ride along in a car, listen to the interviews, and sometimes we have mixed music as well, too. So our music festival is on there. So make sure you go ahead and listen to our music festival. Everybody, we had a great time with you guys today. And next week, we have none other tuning in from Africa. We have Juanita Cap from Meticulous Moments that will actually be here on the show. It's going to be nothing but great inspiration next week. Everybody, we'll see you guys next week as we end off the show. just like this.